Welcome to the deep dive. We dig into fascinating sources looking for those key insights you need.
Yeah, get right to the heart of it.
Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're heading back in time, looking at a classic text, Boericke's Homeopathic Materia Medica.
Right. The materia medica, basically it's a big collection of symptoms linked to different substances used in homeopathy.
Exactly. And our focus today is Benzoicum acidum. That's benzoic acid. Our mission for you listening is to pull out the most, let's say, surprising or unique details from this old source. So let's get into it.
Okay. So what's really striking, I think, is how Boericke details this very specific symptom picture for benzoic acid.
Symptom picture.
Yeah, and it's often tied to metabolism and what they termed a uric acid diathesis.
Which is like a tendency towards things like gout, right? Where uric acid builds up.
Precisely. And the level of detail, the precise observation in this text, it's really quite something for its time.
And speaking of details, let's start with the one that just jumps off the page.
I think I know which one you mean.
The urine, right. The repulsive odor and highly colored nature of it.
Yes. Described as very offensive.
And Boericke specifically mentions, quote, the offensive urine of old men, which is, well, incredibly specific, maybe a bit blunt for us today, but it shows their focus.
It really does. And they directly link that characteristic to gouty symptoms and maybe some underlying kidney issues or renal insufficiency.
Yeah, but it wasn't just physical observations, was it? The source also gets into some intriguing mental and behavioral stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's that really unique detail about a child. The one who wants to be nursed in the arms will not be laid down.
Right, that's so specific.
It is. And if you think about it, it kind of highlights how they saw these connections, between the physical and the emotional. The text also mentions the mind dwelling on like unpleasant past events and even things like omitting words when writing, plus general depression.
And what about other physical symptoms? I found some of those quite, well, memorable. The pains that suddenly change their locality.
Yes. Here 1 minute, gone the next, almost, that kind of thing.
And then the extremities, joints cracking on motion.
Right, and very specific foot pain mentions too, like pain in the Achilles tendon, bunions, even tearing pain in the big toe.
So really detailed observations about joints and gouty deposits.
Exactly. Very painful notes, apparently. And there are other odd ones too, like copper-colored spots on the face
Weird.
and sweating while eating. Oh, and the stool description. Frothy, offensive, liquid, like soap suds.
Soap suds. Okay, that's vivid.
It is. And then respiratory things, like an asthmatic cough that gets worse at night.
And worse when lying on the right side, specifically.
That's the one. See, these aren't just vague things. They're like little signatures for benzoic acid in their view.
So we've got these unique symptoms, but the context matters too, right? Boericke mentions modalities, things that make symptoms worse or better.
Yes, key concept. For benzoic acid, symptoms are noted as being worse in open air
Okay.
and also by uncovering. So getting cold seems to aggravate things.
And what about how it relates to other remedies they use?
Ah, yes. It's mentioned as potentially useful after colchic fails in gout.
Colchicum, the gout remedy.
Right. Or after copavia in certain urinary tract issues. Probably copaiba.
So like a follow-up option.
Seems that way.
Ah.
And interestingly, a practical point maybe.
Yeah.
It's listed as incompatible with wine.
Huh. Good to know. Even now, perhaps.
Maybe.
So wrapping this up then, what does this whole dive into Boericke tell us? It really shows this incredible, almost, poetic level of detail in observing symptoms.
It really does. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, I think it just highlights that meticulous observation first approach of early medical practices.
Yeah.
Which kind of raises a question, doesn't it? How much can we still learn today from these super specific, symptom focused descriptions about how substances might affect us?
That's a great point. It really makes you think about the power of just careful observation. So here's a thought for you to consider. How can even one single striking characteristic like that repulsive odor actually be a powerful clue to a much larger picture within the body? Something to think about.